In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to close 60% of your sales calls using this AI sales assistant that I recently built out. And that's not just like a buzzword or a clickbait title. I've actually been achieving a 60% close rate between my agency, and I've used this in my coaching business as well. So let's just dive right into it and not waste any time at all. So who's this for? If you're an agency owner with a sales team, either you've got hybrid appointments at a closer role or you've got an appointment setter and a closer, then you're going to want to give this to them to install it into your sales process. Or if you're an agency owner doing all of your sales calls yourself, this is going to be perfect for you to just skyrocket your show up rates and your closing rates. Also, this is relevant for literally anyone selling high ticket, done with you consulting, coaching, selling standalone AI automations, any high ticket stuff that people are selling in the online space for in this online space right now. This is going to be super, super helpful. So overview of what we're going to be covering. This is an AI use case that's very simple to set up. It's fast to implement, and it's actually going to put more money in your pocket tomorrow if you implement it. It's going to skyrocket your show up rates and increase your close rate by a minimum of 10%. Like imagine if you could have like a 10, 15% uplift in your close rates, or a 10, 15% uplift in your show up rates as well. That can have a trickle on effect of you collecting an extra, at worst case, an extra like $3,000, $4,000 in monthly recurring revenue. Or, if you're doing decent volume right now, it could be an extra, $15,000, $20,000 per month and 6 figures in added revenue on an annual time frame. And so this is super, super powerful. So what I see happening in the general make money online space at the moment is, and everyone talking about AI, most AI use cases are overcomplicated. They've got vague outcomes there. A lot is just kind of like clickbait and just like kind of dragging out content for the sake of running up watch time on videos. And it's not like, it's just riding the general buzz and hype of the AI wave. And there's no, like, they don't really show any results, and they don't show any tangible outcomes of something that they've built and the real results that it's had in a real business. And so they're preying on your shiny object syndrome. Whereas what I'm about to show you, this is something that I've actually built out personally for my real businesses, for my agency that I've made over $3 million with, that does very, very healthy revenue on a monthly basis. And I've used it in my coaching business. I've battle tested it and I've refined it myself, and it's actively increased my closing rate and is helping me make more money. So, and it will for you if you actually implement it. So how will this AI assistant increase your close rates? This is not like some kind of completely automated solution where it's like an AI chatbot that's just like speaking to your leads on autopilot and closing them and getting them across the line. This is like a hyper specific use case where we're just like installing one system into the sales process that is going to improve your close rates. You're obviously still taking sales calls and executing on a normal sales process. So what we're doing is we're creating custom, highly personalized and contextual pitch documents that you send to prospects before a sales call and after you've conducted an intro or discovery call that has already been conducted. So what it will even do is it's going to hyperlink relevant testimonials that are contextual to the person that we're pitching to. And some of the things that prospects have been saying to me when I've been sending this over are things like, thank you so much for putting this together. You've clearly listened to everything that I've said on our call. Or, wow, this is perfect. Thank you for breaking down your offer so clearly. And what we want everyone to be saying is, let's do it. How do I pay? So what I'll show you is how to build the custom GPT that produces these pitch documents, the prompt template to create this and customize this to your offer, the exact workflow for producing one live, and then how to install it into your sales process right now. And so the reason these pitch documents are so powerful is because what we're doing is we're hosting an initial intro call, which is like your initial screening and discovery call to make sure that the person you're going to sell to is actually someone that you can help, and to gather information so that you're armed with, the pre-handled objections and the things that they actually need so you can do a good sales call to them. We're going to create like a custom version of your pitch that where everything is customized and addresses their unique situation, and it makes it seem like way more of a customized solution to them, and it pre-handles all of their objections based on what they talked about on your discovery call. And so that dramatically increases show up rates because it creates a very compelling offer before they show up to the call, so they actually want to speak to you about it. And we actually pre-pitch the price to them, so that it's easier to close. And because the worst thing is when your sales calls are really education calls. That's the last thing you want. Your sales calls, they should be sales calls or closing calls where you're literally just answering their questions, handling any final objections, and getting them across the line. So this is an example of a pitch document that I literally made today for my coaching offer, and just so you can see the general format of it. So it will like reference if you're Winston, if you're watching this, you would have seen this on our call earlier today. But It gives a brief kind of summary and breakdown of the topics that were covered on the call. It kind of hypes up and gives, kind of a positive outlook on the goal that we're trying to achieve. Kind of breaks down the bottlenecks that we're going to be fixing it together, breaks down the resources and the deliverables that they're getting access to. It kind of gives a 3-month time frame. A very powerful sales tactic is putting outcomes on a timeline. So it breaks down those outcomes on a timeline, then breaks down the investment options, and then it hyperlinks contextual case studies that are relevant to the client. This prospect was in the home services niche, so it pulled from the document that I've given the GPT for all of my case studies that have scaled agencies successfully in the home services niche, and it hyperlinked those. And then it gives a next step CTA. And so obviously when you're doing this for an agency offer, it personalizes and customizes all of this to your offer specifically. So how do we actually implement this into your sales process? So step 1, use an AI recording plugin like Loom so that meetings are auto-recorded and the transcript is generated. So I've used Loom for so many different things, for just team communication, client communication, making SOPs, all of the above. But Loom has its own inbuilt like AI meeting recorder. There's a lot of these out there, but you accept it into your meeting. I like Loom because it's just like so quick, and if you're already using Loom for lots of other things, it's great to have all of your recordings all in one place, and you can just like immediately share them with anyone if you want them to. But let's take this call that I had yesterday with David. This call ended up going for 37 minutes. Usually intro calls should go for like 15-20 minutes max, and then the transcript is automatically generated here. So the transcript includes the entire context of everything that you would want a GPT to know to create this customized sales document for you. So you use that. That's automatically done for you. Then you make sure you have to actually conduct a good intro call for this to be powerful and effective. So make sure that you're asking insightful diagnostic questions, which I'm going to show you some examples of. And one kind of resource that I'll give you, I'm going to give access to this document and the exact template of the real discovery call script that I've used in my agency to make over $3 million. But this is something that you'll only get access to if you're inside of my private school community, Agency Scaling Secrets, and everyone that buys my new book, The One Man Agency, automatically gets lifetime access to this community. So if you want to check out my book, it's literally only $27, and you get a bunch of bonus resources. You get the audiobook for free, you get an entire 7-day scaling series for free, you get my client KPI tracking sheet for free, and a ton of other bonuses. And these types of resources are things that I'm sharing in the community all the time. So if you want to check out the book, I'll put the link in the description below to grab that. So some examples of good, insightful questions that you can ask in your discovery call is, when it comes to getting help, what exactly do you feel like you need right now? That's just like a great question, because you're literally just getting people to tell you what to pitch them. What do you feel like you need right now? And they'll literally just tell you. And then that's going to get incorporated into the pitch document. What had you interested in wanting to jump on a call with us today in the first place? One of the best pieces of sales advice that I got from one of my mentors is that the reason that someone schedules in the call is the reason that they will close. People don't just go out of their way to take sales calls or take intro calls with businesses that they're like just to window shop. Like, everyone has a problem to solve at the end of the day. And so you don't want to just take people's initial answer at face value. You want to kind of dig a little bit deeper. So a lot of the time people will answer this question, I was just like wanting to check out what you do. I was just interested, or I like the ad. And so you want to push back with these types of questions and go, yeah, I completely understand, but I'm sure you don't just jump on sales calls or intro calls for fun to pass the time. Like, what's the problem that we're looking to solve here? Next, you want to ask all of your kind of diagnostic questions to get contextual business stats to diagnose their constraints. So, for example, my agency is in the real estate niche. So the questions that we would ask are like, how many listings are you currently acquiring per month? How many on-site appraisals are you scheduling per month? How many appraisal inquiries are you generating per month? What marketing channels are you currently allocating budget to? You're doing Google ads, you're doing Facebook ads. What's working? What's not working? What's holding you back from scaling up? What's stopping you from just doing more of what you're already doing? That's a great question to ask. And then lastly, what have you tried already to get more listings or to get XYZ outcome that hasn't worked yet? If you're asking good, insightful qualification questions like this, that's going to give you the perfect ammo and data to, one, just like conduct a good sales call in the first place, but it just goes hand in hand with using this GPT structure to create these pitch documents. Next, open your custom GPT and paste in the call script. Don't worry, I'm going to be showing you how exactly to format and set up your own version of this custom GPT. So, but when you're doing this just in your sales process and the workflow, you've got the transcript, you've conducted your intro call, then you're going to open the custom GPT and paste in the call transcript. Then the GPT is going to produce the first draft. And I usually go back and forth like 2 to 3 times to refine it slightly and do a few edits before sending it off. And just like a slight recommendation that I'll show you an example of, but it's best when you're doing this on an ongoing basis, it's best to do it in the same thread. Like, even though you'll have made like your custom GPT and it'll live here on the left hand side, when you like start a thread in a conversation, all future custom pitch documents that you create, you want to do it in the same thread, because I find it's much more accurate at carrying over the learnings and the adjustments and the recommendations that you give it for future iterations, where if you start like a brand new thread from scratch, it can just get the context all wrong. And I'll show you an example of that. Cool. So step 4 is the pre-call confirmation and sending the doc. So this is like an additional strategy that you should be installing into your sales process anyway. But best practice for increasing show-up rates, regardless of if you're sending this doc or not, is we want to send, like the day before a sales call is happening, we want to send a 20-second pre-call video to prospects via SMS to confirm the call. So this just dramatically increases show-up rates, because I don't know, sometimes it's easy for people to flake on calls if they feel like they don't have any like human to human accountability, that there's actually someone else on the other end of that Zoom link. And so, for my agency, if I had a sales call on the calendar tomorrow with a prospect named John, I'd send them a quick 20-second video of me. I'd send it to I'd text it to them. I'd just say, "Hey John, Liam here from Reliable Leads. Really looking forward to our call tomorrow at 1 p.m. I just put together a custom marketing strategy document for you that breaks down absolutely everything that we're going to be doing for you over the next 6 months or over the next 3 months. Make sure that you give that a quick read before our call. Otherwise, I'm really looking forward to having a chat with you tomorrow." That is it. You send that video over to them. That's just like a really nice pattern interrupt and personalized touch point that hardly anyone actually takes the effort to do, because it's just extra effort. And then if you couple this with this customized document, it's so powerful, it stands out so much, and it really just sets you apart from everyone else that's pitching the same thing in the same industry. So do this. Reference the doc in the video and give the CTA to read it before the call. Only do this the day before the call, so that the contents of the doc is top of mind when they jump on. Say if there's like 4 days in between when you had the initial intro call, then when you're taking the sales call, if you send it to them like immediately after or the day after, and there's 3 to 4 days that elapse before the call, then they're probably going to forget about mostly what was on that document. Send it the day before so it's top of mind. And then step 5 is collect your money. If you do everything correctly, then you're going to get paid. Cool. So let's walk through how to create this custom GPT. So the assets that you need to feed the AI Superbrain is an offer document. So here is, a very, very simple example of just like literally dot point outlines of the deliverables that you might have included with your service, where you break down like the budget, the ad spend, the typical like customer acquisition costs in your niche, ad spend ranges, then just like literally just subheadings, dot points of what the deliverables are included in the service package that you're trying to sell. Another example here, obviously, if you're inside of the group and you get the book, you're going to get access to all these examples in this entire worksheet. Here's just like another variation so you can see how it looks with like a more consulting done with you offer. Pretty standard stuff. Whatever like existing assets that you've got, if you want to expand on it, then you can just like get ChatGPT to feed in whatever information that you've got about your current offer, and then just get it to make an expanded offer doc so that there's more context and information for the GPT. Then create a client case studies document. So this is one that I've literally just formatted today. So I had this ready for this training for how you could format it for your agency. So I use a tool called Senja to collect all of my video testimonials. I will leave a link for that below. But the good thing about Senja is that it will automatically generate the transcripts of your videos, and it will just like collect all the information about them. It does a lot of stuff automatically. And so if I was wanting to, I just used ChatGPT to put together this document as well by just like giving it a bit of context on how I wanted the doc to be formatted, fed it the transcripts from each of these testimonials, and then got it to hyperlink it all in here. So then when I upload this document to the GPT itself, it is able to pull upon this and then contextually select which testimonials would make sense to include in the offer document, so that they can watch those and check those out, because some case studies are going to be more relevant to some people than others. Then you want to have, and like, yeah, you can see in this one, I've got like a ton of different examples. I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different case studies that all have video testimonials linked to them, and a bunch of these, are with agency owners that have scaled to 100K plus per month and beyond. So then the other resource that we give it is a sales process master knowledge base. So personally, obviously I've been running my agency for 7 years. I've managed sales teams within my own agency. So I've built up a lot of in-house intellectual property and like in-house sales training that we give to our appointment setters and closers that are very customized around our offer. And then obviously I've been creating courses and content for the masterminds that I run, training other agency owners. So I've got a lot of intellectual property that I've been building that's perfect for these types of use cases to feed into the AI. And so just take as much as you've got. Like, this is the type of stuff that I share in my mastermind, where I give access to all this intellectual property so that you can do things like this. But whatever you've got, like, even if you've got other courses or you find free training on YouTube, then you can just like export the transcripts from a sales training video from Alex Hormozi on YouTube, and then put that onto a Google Doc, export it as a PDF, and then you can upload that into the GPT. Then you need the base prompt for instructions. So let me just show you what this looks like inside of the GPT when you go to create it. So if I come in and edit, you can see that down the bottom here, I've got those 3 resources. So I've got my offer document, I've got the client case study document, and then I've got my sales training knowledge base. And so for me, that includes like the transcripts from about like 4 hours of training, but for you, make what you've got. So then I've gone and created this big prompt that just kind of goes through the entire context of how it should be pulling on and drawing on those resources, and how we want it to execute on creating the pitch documents. And so I'm not going to read all through this, but you're going to have access to this in the worksheet. And then what I've also given you is a prompt, a meta prompt, a prompt to create a prompt. So this is the prompt that you will use to create your own version of that prompt, so that it is customized to your offer and your agency. So it's just like you're about to create your own custom AI sales agent that will help you close more deals, follow up with prospects, and create high-impact sales pitch documents tailored to your offer. They will be trained on your offer documents, client case studies, and sales frameworks to consistently generate persuasive ROI-driven sales messaging. To get started, I'll ask you a series of questions, answer them in detail, and generate your personalized sales assistant prompt. And then you just go through and answer all these questions, give it to the GPT, and it'll create your version of the prompt. So if you do all of that successfully, then you'll be able to produce high quality pitch documents. So here is a thread of one that I just went through and created from scratch, and just showing you from like a brand new, a brand new transcript from an intro call. And this is just showing you how you're going to need to refine it when you first do it. So I literally just say, ready to make a pitch doc, says yes. I'll just give you the intro calls transcript, because it kind of missed the context of that. The only thing that I'll provide it to do this task is give them the intro call transcript. They said, perfect, drop it in. I did that, sent it. Then immediately it created, then it was like, wanted me to give the green light before doing it. I said, go ahead. And then immediately, it started creating in the wrong format. So I was like, no, we're making a pitch doc, as in a Google Doc. So it started creating like an outline for like a slideshow presentation. And so even though you give it all this context, sometimes like it just misses the mark when it's like a new conversation, initial thread. So it's like, no, we're making a pitch doc as in a Google Doc similar to one below. I gave it the example, and then it did it much better. Then in the first version, it forgot to hyperlink the testimonials. So I said, you didn't hyperlink the testimonials. Then it did that. Then I checked the hyperlinks in the testimonials, but it put like the names of the testimonials that it gave, the links didn't go back to the correct testimonials. So I said, the testimonial links don't match the names, make sure to use the correct links. And then after I did that, then it worked. And so if I copy and paste this into a Google Doc, obviously it's not going to be perfectly formatted initially, and you always want to go through and do just some final edits, but it's pretty good. So like, I'll clean it up a bit, I'll make it a bit larger. I usually like to use Roboto font. I usually like to make the heading centered, just like adding in the correct spacing, And then like I'll go through, usually like before putting on the document, I'll say like remove all the M dashes and then make sure that the sizing is all good. And then it's usually pretty much most of the way there. So then it's got these testimonials linked here. It's like, hey, so if I click this one, this should be, hopefully this works, fingers crossed, I haven't even checked this one yet. Boom, that's a testimonial from Etu. And someone can click that, watch that, and play it. And this one should be a testimonial from Mo. Boom. Cool. Sweet. So there you go. That's how to do it. You've got everything that you need there to execute on this. If you start doing this, you're going to increase your close rate. You're going to increase your show up rate. I'm looking forward to hearing and seeing your results for those of you that implement this. And make sure to get the book if you haven't already. If you have got the book, there's 1,400 agency owners at this point, then enjoy taking advantage of this resource. Otherwise, check out some of my other videos, and hopefully I'll be back with another one very, very soon. Peace, guys.